watching Thrifty Kaniffy.
Hello everyone and welcome to Thrifty Kaniffy. Well, today we're going to be taking a look at a real steel Barlow. This is the RB-1, and this is one that was sent to me by Real Steel by request, and they obliged, so I did get this for free, but I won't let that reflect my review. You can just take my word for that. But let's kind of go through some of the specifications here. We have a handle length of 3 5/8. Now that's going to be pretty standard for our Barlow, somewhere between 3 3/8 and 3 5/8, and so that kind of fits that role. Of course, this is obviously a more modern version of a Barlow, but we have these ABS plastic handles, got the molded lines in there for some nice grippy texture, and you've got the T6 torque screws on this side and the back holding the handle together, and then also the pivot looks to be a T8, so you can tighten that if you needed to. One of the cool features on this, and kind of the RB-1's claim to fame, is this little clip on the back, because basically you operate the clip by, you can remove it or move it to either side, but you can pull it out just by pinching it, and then it's got a little fork on here. So this is a nice little feature that can be used to eat with if you're on the go. And of course you can just leave it off altogether if you're not inclined to use it, but you can see it can go on either side. So just as easy as pulling it off to flip whatever side you want to put it on, just like that. So now we got it on the other side. But this is a really handy little Barlow for a very affordable price. In fact, if you go to realsteelknives.com and use code Thrifty Kaniffy, you can save 5%. Now, they're only $24.50 to begin with, so that takes about $1 and change off. Save you a little bit more money. Now, you can see this is a linerless design, just the back spring and the handles. And then you've got the nail nick there and this nice little clip point blade. Now, they do offer this in 2 blade styles. You can get this or the drop point blade, which is very close to like a spear point blade in its shape, and I'll show you a picture of that right now on screen. There you go. So yeah, it offers 2 blade options, but they're both in 12C27 steel, so like a budget steel there. And then you can see the Real Steel logo on this side, but a really attractive clip point blade that I've got here. The grind on this thing is like just really, really nice. They've got that super even. It's super sharp, and I just wish everybody could make blade grinds like that. That is really good, and got a nice little sharpening choil there, and your plunge grind is very attractive there, kind of a diagonal there, but just a really cool looking blade shape, I think. And you've got that sort of patented 1/3 or 2/3 stop, I like to call it. Let's call it a 2/3 stop, because when you get to from the open position, it goes about 2/3 of the way open, and then it snaps into place in the full open operational mode. We got really good grip with that handle, and again with that, like 3 5/8 inch handle length, you've got a lot to grab hold of. I can get all 4 fingers on there. Blade length on this guy, all the way up to the handle, it's 2 3/4 inches. Actually, looking at the specifications on the box, it's a little off. They're kind of shortchanging you there at 2.5. I think it's actually longer than that. Blade thickness is 2.5 millimeters. Of course, your scales are ABS plastic. Closed length is 3.62. That is accurate. 92 millimeter. Of course, it's a slip joint design, and there they're kind of showing you how that pocket clip with the fork works. So again, Real Steel RB-1, all right, and the clip point versions. Now, the drop point version is exactly the same price, so you can save on whichever knife you prefer. Again, just use that code Thrifty Kaniffy to save yourself 5%. But this is a awesome little piece. I really enjoyed the RB-5 that I reviewed previously, and it had interchangeable handles, had a little higher end blade still on it, and I think they probably wanted to offer a more budget-friendly option. So I think for $25, you're getting a really nice little blade here. Now, obviously 12C27 is nothing super great, but I mean, it is like that Sandvik steel, so you have a tried and true blade steel that's been used for many, many years, and should be easy enough to sharpen and hold a relatively good edge as long as you're not using anything hard core. I really like that 2/3 open design too, like where if that would kind of close down on you. This is about a 5 weight pull, I'd say. So I could see that maybe moving if you just kind of haphazardly bumped it on something. But it's going to stop right there. That'll be ultra safe for you. It's not even going to come halfway up, so your finger there should be quite safe. But really attractive little design here. Very lightweight. What was the weight again on this? It had to be pretty darn light. Yeah, just 1.5, just slightly over 1.5 ounces. So you clip that on your pocket, and you're never gonna really feel that weight-wise. And it's pretty manageable in size. At 3 5/8 inch length, I mean that's like ideal for a pocket carry. Again, and if you don't like using that, maybe you want to use a slip, just pull that right off, no problem whatsoever. It's gone out of the way, and you can carry it more like a traditional Barlow and a slip or something like that. But really attractive clip point blade. I like how they've done the grind on that. Very easy to open. So like if you were one of those that have complained about, say, like Rosecraft or Ashley's being just too hard to open, this is a super easy to open knife. You're not going to have that kind of resistance that you have on some of those. So this will be ideal for those people that are maybe a bit arthritic, or they have a little trouble operating slip joints. Maybe they're a little older or something, but you just don't have the required strength to open up some of those more difficult to open knives. This will be ideal for you, I think. And again, you can probably center up the blade if it's not quite perfect with that pivot. This seems to come right out of the box extremely straight down the middle. So thank you again to Real Steel for sending this over. I think the fork is kind of a handy feature. I don't know how much I would use it, because I'm usually eating with a different kind of knife when I use one for my meal, so don't know that I'll be using that. But if I was out and about and I need something to kind of poke about, or have a need for some sort of little eating instrument, that would be perfect for that. But Real Steel was nice enough to send this along, so thank you guys for sending this. And I do really like this knife. I think it's extremely a nice little affordable knife for that sort of like almost Rough Rider price point, right? And just as nice as any Rough Rider I bought. Going to be extremely sharp, and again, they did a fantastic job on the blade grind on this. But that's going to do it for my review of this, guys. I hope you enjoyed it. Make sure you're going over to realsteelknives.com. Use that code Thrifty Kaniffy to save 5%. Appreciate you guys coming in and watching. You guys have a great day. Take care.